Alrighty, so for my weekly community project, I decided to watch the new documentary about the unknown number, um, a quick recap of the case. So there is a teenage girl and her boyfriend, and they are getting random texts from different numbers, threatening, kind of very hateful. They were very cruel. Um, some of them told Lauren, which is the girl, to kill herself. That she's not wanted. That her boyfriend would never sleep with her. Doesn't want to sleep with her. Um, this went on for 15 months. Then eventually the investigators tracked the IP on the phone numbers that it's coming from, and it turns out it was Lauren's mom the entire time. Um, she was using software to hide the number, so like there's many apps online where you can change your number or use a fake number, and that's what she's been using. Um, so what happened typically in the court was she pled guilty to two counts of stalking a minor. Yeah, I think she was a minor at the time. Um, and she was sentenced to 19 months to 5 years in prison. She was let out on parole in 2024. So she served 2 years, because this happened in, I think she was convicted in 22, it had to have been 22. Um, but she could have been held longer based on her behavior. But if you behave well, they're gonna let you out. Um, but here's what is kind of interesting in this case, and I thought that it was important to talk about. I feel like we talk a lot about evidence and what is really needed and the punishments in these crimes and if they're fair and if they're not. But basically, like, she had a maximum sentence of 5 years. She ended up serving two, but that is very unfair. I feel like it does not match the severity of the harm that she has caused to her own daughter. Her daughter wanted to end her life. She was very depressed and just didn't love who she was anymore because of all these nasty messages. Um, lost a lot of friends, lost a boyfriend. Very, very important in a teenage girl's lives during those times. So I guess the sentencing kind of highlights that the criminal law, when it comes to cybercrime, is still treated under older laws. I feel like she was really charged under a stalking statute, and I felt as if those penalties are definitely lighter than what we see today. I think it's very unfair, like I mentioned, for the severity of the crime that was caused and the punishment. We see that with like all crimes mainly, but I just thought it was something important to talk about, something that's recent and just popped up. I think from the victim's perspective, it's not just about punishment, it's about protecting her. She was so young, she didn't even know how to react to finding out that her mom did this. And she's very like unsure if she wants to move forward with it. It does put a lot of stress on a child and the victim itself. I just think that we need a better sentencing plan for these minor crimes that may not be super like violent criminally. Like, I feel like we focus more on violent criminal cases than we do with just non-violent, which those are still very important because they still, oh my god, my hair's a mess, they still shape our law system today. But basically, in short, I think it shows how our laws are kind of catching up with the reality of the digital world, and the abuse and the threatening or the harm that it comes from it. But I think it's still very devastating to see punishments aren't matching the severity of the crime, and that the legal system really doesn't have the tools to punish the way that it should be. So yeah, I think she probably should have served the maximum of 5 years. I think her mentality was definitely something that it probably would have been repeated if Lauren wasn't of age now. Um, but yeah, I think it's something to kind of talk about as well when we talk about, I know it's criminal law, but I feel like it's very important to talk about the non-violent crimes too that actually play a role in how they still are very concerning, and like they still have victims. Victims are still harmed, and I think it should be treated kind of more seriously since there's now more cyber crimes happening.